Have you ever found that in one part of the world an animal is called one thing and in another part of the world it's called another thing, but it's the same animal? That tends to happen quite a lot with common names. So today we're going to go over 10 of the most misleading animal names. Stay tuned. As I said, some of the animal common names are kind of misleading and you're not sure if you're talking about the same animal as someone else when you're having a conversation. And in the scientific community, they tend to use the Latin names or scientific names to avoid all this. Now, I'm not saying every Tom, Dick and Harry needs to learn every single scientific name of every single species, because that's just a lot. And on top of that, a lot of the scientific names are difficult to remember or even pronounce. I certainly can't pronounce all of them, and I'm definitely going to butcher some of those scientific names, so my apologies in advance. But anyway, we're going to be going over 10 of the most common misleading common names of animals. See if you can guess which parts of the name are true, which parts are false, or even better, let me know in the comments below what you would name the animal instead of the one they currently have. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting us off is the king cobra. And although it closely resembles a cobra and often has similar behavior, it is in fact not a true cobra. True cobras belong to the genus Naja, where the king cobra belongs to the genus Ophiophagus. It is the only member in that genus with the species name Ophiophagus hanna. So as much as it is the king of all snakes, because it's the largest venomous snake in the world, it is not a cobra. Going a little bit into the sea, we're looking at the next animal, which is the whale shark. Is it a whale? Is it a shark? Who knows? Well, actually, I know because we're doing this video, and that is that it is in fact a shark. It is just a very large shark. In fact, it is the largest shark species in the world, which can reach the size of some of the smaller whales. So, hence the name whale shark. You can tell that it's a shark because it does have gills, it has a tail that's flattened from the side, so it's a vertical caudal fin or tail, and through genetics, it is actually related to the shark family. It is an elasmobranch. And as I mentioned, it can get really big. They've recorded individuals of up to 18 and 19 meters, so really huge. But its scientific name, for those that are curious to know, is Rhinocodon typus. So if you want to sound smart amongst your peers, you can maybe learn a couple of these scientific names when you're talking about these animals as they pop up in conversation. The next animal on our list is also in the ocean and maybe a bit unsure of what it is, and that is the killer whale. The killer is understandable as it is the true top predator of the ocean, which means it can pretty much kill whatever it wants or hunts pretty much everything, so the real apex predator. But it is not a whale. It is in fact a member of the dolphin family, which makes it the largest species in this family, which is also how it sometimes came to the term whale, because according to some people, depending on the size of the animal, because it is still a mammal, in this case the dolphins, that after a certain size, the animal can be considered to be a whale, although taxonomically or genetically it is not a whale. So you can kind of understand that, but sticking with the taxonomy of it all, it is strictly speaking a member of the dolphin family. But if you want to avoid any confusion in general, you can just call it the orca, because that comes from its scientific name, Orchinus orca. But if you still call it the killer whale, you could be forgiven. This next one though came as a bit of a surprise to me, and that is the red panda. Okay, it is pretty much red, you can give it that, that's its color, but it is not in fact a panda. Touching a little bit on the pandas, a panda bear is at least still a bear, so that is true, that's actually properly named, but the red panda isn't, as the red panda is in its own genus with the species name Ailurus fulgens. So not actually related closely to the panda bear itself. At number 5, we've got the horned toad. And yes, it has horns, that part is true. Those spikes that you see on the end, those pointy things, actually do have a bit of bone in them, so definitely a horn. But if you have a look at this animal, does it look like a toad to you? Well, actually, its general body shape and behavior does resemble that a lot of a toad quite well. But a toad is an amphibian, whereas this animal is in fact a reptile. It is a type of lizard. So the genus name of this horned toad is Phrynosoma, which actually means toad-like body. So that's where it got its common name from, derived from the scientific name. But again, still not a toad. Which brings us to the electric eel, or Electrophus electricus. And you've probably guessed it seeing the trend of this video in that it is in fact not an eel, but rather a type of fish in the family group of knife fishes, which again aren't knives, but that's for another video. They do still, however, deliver electric shocks, so don't go grabbing electric eels thinking that that's the part of the name that's false. You will get a shock. Then the honey badger, and if any of you know anything about honey badgers, they fear nothing. They are anything but sweet in their general demeanor. Of course, each individual is different, but their reputation doesn't necessarily lean to anything sweet like honey. They likely got the name because they really enjoy raiding those beehives for the honey which they consume, getting the name honey badger. In which case, you've guessed that it is actually not related to the conventional badgers, even though its coloration and body shape resembles that of those badgers. This is because the honey badger is in the genus Mellivora, with its scientific name being Mellivora capensis, which is a different genus to other badgers. They do still all form part of the same family Mustelidae, but are different on a genus level. I haven't necessarily been saying where each animal comes from, but we haven't had one from Australia yet until now, because of course it's Australia, full of weird and wonderful creatures. And the misleading name that we get in Australia is the koala bear. Care to guess? Yep, not a bear. It is a marsupial, with its closest living relative being the wombat, which is also a marsupial, by the way. Koalas are the only living species in their genus, with the species name of Phascolocotus cinereus. Pretty sure that's the one I butchered. But anyway, if you just call it a koala, you are 100% correct. It is an accepted term, and it doesn't need to get confused with any other bears. Heading back into the ocean now, we'll be looking at the mantis shrimp, which is one of the most false ones we've had, in the sense that it's not a mantis and it's not a shrimp either. They belong to the order Stromatophoda, meaning that it doesn't form part of the insect group like a mantis, nor does it form part of the Decapoda order, which other shrimps fall into. So in an order on its own. Fun fact about the mantis shrimp though is that it has the most complex eyes in the animal kingdom. And for those of you keeping count, well done, you would have noticed that we are in fact on the 10th animal of the list. And I'm pretty sure you're thinking, well, what could be weirder than the other 9 that we've already seen? And I think I have it for you. It's called the mountain chicken, with the scientific name of Leptodactylus phalanx. If you want to have a guess at what that is, go for it. Don't Google the scientific name to give you the answer. Anything? I'll give you a clue. It's not a chicken. Oh, bad clue. Okay, fine. I'll tell you that it's also found in the Caribbean islands of Dominica and Montserrat. I hope I said that one right. And although this animal is critically endangered, it is often consumed as a delicacy and is said to taste like chicken, which is probably why it got its name. Well, with the clues I've given, to be totally honest, I don't think I would have even got this as an answer. But the mountain chicken is in fact a type of amphibian. It is a frog whose legs are apparently finger-licking good. And if you found this video good, please hit that like button down below, share it with anyone who you think may find it interesting, as well as subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Really guys, we're this close to 100 subscribers, really, just like that. But until next time, click on one of these videos here on screen, and remember, it's never too late to learn, and I'll catch you in the next one.